If you think you can commit the perfect murder from 700 miles away, this case will make you think again. At 1:36 a.m., a 911 dispatcher answered a call that began with silence. No panic, no screaming, just dead air. Then, barely audible, a whisper. He's inside the house. The line didn't disconnect. It stayed open for 47 seconds, long enough for the dispatcher to hear slow, deliberate footsteps and a door creak shut. The terrifying part, police would later confirm the woman who made that call had already been dead for at least 20 minutes. When officers arrived at the Whitmore home in Arlington, Virginia, the front door was unlocked. There were no signs of forced entry, no shattered glass, no alarm triggered. The house looked undisturbed. The television flickered in the living room, casting a cold blue light over spotless furniture. Upstairs, in the master bedroom, 34-year-old Rachel Whitmore lay beside her bed. She had been strangled. The medical examiner placed her time of death between 12:45 and 1:15 a.m. The 911 call was logged at 1:36. Someone had spoken after she was already gone. Her husband, Daniel Whitmore, was in Chicago on a business trip. Hotel surveillance showed him at a bar at 1:10 a.m. Eastern Time, smiling and relaxed with coworkers. Receipts confirmed the timestamp. His cell phone connected to a Chicago tower minutes before the emergency call. On paper, it was airtight, but detectives couldn't ignore the audio. When forensic analysts enhanced the 911 recording, they found something subtle beneath Rachel's whisper, a faint metallic ticking, repetitive, mechanical, precise. Daniel owned a rare Swiss mechanical watch known for its distinct internal rotor sound. He rarely took it off. Prosecutors argued that ticking placed him inside the bedroom at the exact moment the call connected. Then came the flight records. 2 weeks before the murder, Daniel had chartered a small private aircraft under a shell company name. On the night Rachel died, logs showed a flight departing a private airstrip outside Chicago at 10:40 p.m., landing near Virginia shortly after midnight, and returning before 3 a.m. The prosecution's theory was chillingly simple. Daniel flew home in secret, entered with his key, confronted Rachel after discovering she had removed him from a $2 million life insurance policy, strangled her, locked the house, flew back to Chicago, then remotely activated the home's smart speaker to trigger the 911 call and create the illusion she was alive after he had already reappeared on camera. Meticulous, calculated, cold. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. Guilty. Life without parole. The case was praised as a modern triumph of digital forensics, proof that technology can expose even the most carefully planned crime. But 5 years later, technology advanced, and the case began to unravel. A defense-funded audio engineer reanalyzed the original 911 recording using updated forensic software. The metallic ticking, the cornerstone of the prosecution's argument, did not perfectly match Daniel's watch. It matched something else. Mounted on the bedroom wall above Rachel's dresser was a pendulum clock. During the initial investigation, it had been dismissed as too faint to register clearly through a cell phone microphone. But new acoustic modeling revealed that when recorded from the nightstand and compressed through a cellular signal, the pendulum's echo produced almost the exact same metallic rhythm. The ticking may have belonged to the house itself. Then federal investigators charged the aviation company's accountant with fraud. During the financial audit, inconsistencies appeared in archive flight logs. Several timestamps had been altered for tax reporting purposes. The supposed landing in Virginia the night of the murder could not be independently verified through FAA radar records. There was a flight plan, but no confirmed radar signature. The physical timeline that convicted Daniel began to crack. Detectives revisited the smart home data. The 911 call had been triggered through a remote command at 1:28 a.m. The IP address was routed through layered VPN servers across multiple states. Daniel had the expertise to mask his digital trail, but so did anyone experienced in cybersecurity. Then investigators uncovered something buried deep in Rachel's laptop backups. Weeks before her death, she had downloaded experimental voice cloning software. Hidden in deleted folders was an unfinished audio file, her voice whispering fragmented phrases. He's inside the house. The waveform wasn't identical to the 911 call, but it was disturbingly close. Forensic comparison showed subtle pitch smoothing consistent with early voice synthesis tools, which raised a darker possibility. What if the 911 call wasn't placed after the murder? What if it had been scheduled before it? There was no forced entry. No neighbors reported hearing a struggle. No clear defensive wounds beyond faint marks on her wrists. No verified physical evidence, placing Daniel in Virginia that night beyond disputed logs and a ticking sound that might not have been his. Daniel Whitmore remains in prison. Officially, the case is closed, but one retired detective kept listening to the original recording long after the trial ended, not for the ticking, but for the silence. At second 41, just before the door creaks shut, there is another sound beneath the whisper. A breath. Not Rachel's. Deeper. Slower. Closer to the microphone. Enhanced channel separation revealed something chilling. The second breath registered stronger than Rachel's whisper, meaning whoever was breathing was physically closer to the phone, standing beside her. And here's the detail never presented at trial. The footsteps on the recording don't move toward the bedroom. They move away from it, as if whoever was inside had already finished. 3 months after Daniel's conviction, another 911 call was placed from a home 6 miles away. It began with silence, then a whisper, "He's inside the house." The call lasted 46 seconds. There was no life insurance dispute in that home. No husband on a business trip. No chartered flight records. Just the same metallic ticking and the same second breath. That second case remains officially unsolved. Daniel Whitmore continues to maintain his innocence. But the most disturbing question is no longer whether Daniel killed Rachel. It's this: if he didn't, then the person who was breathing into that phone that night is still out there, and the next whisper might already be recorded.